Welcome to Navigating Your 20s. I'm your host, Jess Hugo, and I am so excited to have you here. I'm an online personal trainer and nutritionist, but honestly, underneath it all, I am just a girl who is struggling, thriving, and surviving somehow all at once. So if this is you, you are not alone. If you want all the juicy tea on what it's like to be a girl navigating her 20s, I'm talking relationships, health, fitness, social life, work, and everything in between, then you're in the right place.
Oh my gosh, hi besties! The old me would be screaming, crying, throwing up if she knew that we were doing a podcast. And honestly, if you don't know me, you're probably like, who the fuck is even the old you? So let's get into it, because losing 20 kilos in my 20s actually changed my fucking life. And I know that's so simple and basic to say, but I'm going to share with you what my life used to look like, because oh my god, it was not good. So let me set the scene a little bit. We're going back to high school, the worst times of our lives, which were supposedly the best times of our lives. I'm not even going to get into that, but why did every single teacher, adult, anyone at that time say, you're going to regret not liking high school, like high school is the best years of your life? Okay, yeah, now we're part of the rat race and we're all feeling those types of feels, but it was not the best time of my life. Honestly, year 11 and 12, if you know, you know. Not good. So I was very, very, very career driven. If you don't actually know, I was studying law prior to being an online personal trainer and nutritionist. I was studying law and psychology honors, and it was like my goal. That's all I wanted to do. I worked so hard to do it. And in terms of like getting there, was I smart? Yeah. Did it take a lot of work? Yeah. Like I wasn't that naturally really gifted person. Like it definitely took hard work. And so if you're probably sitting here thinking like, oh, like how the fuck did you do law? Don't even ask me how I got in. But it took a lot of hard work at the time. And I feel like I definitely dedicated my whole entire year 11 and 12 to grinding out, wanting to be in that career, which is so wild to me, because in reality, you take 2 years to study for it and then you're in it for like 5 years, and you've just like, I don't know, the timeline, I wish I had more of like an idea at the time that it was going to be such a wild timeline that by the time I was like 26 or something, I'd only just be finishing. And that's just so wild to me. If I think about myself now and myself at 26, like I have such big goals and places I want to be by then, which we will all share on later. But okay, so I was dedicated to the grind is what I'm saying. So because of that, I did very, very minimal movement. I gained so much weight at school because I was dedicated to the ATAR. I was dedicated to the grind, and I didn't really have anything going on. Do you know when like you are doing lots of activities like extracurriculars when you're younger? For me, it was like dancing, actually fizzy. For the girls who know, they know. Fizzy is a like different type of dance. I wouldn't even class it dance, but basically a lot of people would be like, do you do hip hop, contemporary, whatever? And I'd be like, oh, fizzy. And it's basically everything combined. I don't even know. It's a mix of everything. You should Google it. BJP, fizzy. Anyway, I did that and I did netball. And then in a year 11 and 12, once I got a job and I was really like trying to commit to getting a good mark, I didn't have time. I should be air quoting. I didn't have time. I decided not to prioritize movement and those things, and I decided to prioritize other things, which is okay. But I dropped everything, and if anything, my eating habits got worse, and I definitely paid for it. I don't know how much weight I gained. I think when I reflect back on school, there was a lot of like trauma in our year group. There were so many girls having very, I want to say, aggressive eating patterns. It was pretty harmful. There was definitely lots of disordered eating going on. I'm not going to get into it, but I didn't even realize at the time. I think I grew up in a pretty nurtured household. I didn't have scales. I didn't know anything about calories, which there's good sides and bad sides to it. We all know the classic almond mum. I definitely didn't have one. My mum was not like that. I didn't understand any of that. But on the flip, I really wish I understood more about feeling my body, eating adequate nutrition and things like that. Because when I was going through the trenches, studying, having friendship issues, partner issues, I would turn to food. I was definitely an emotional eater in that time. I vividly remember eating like full massive packets of cheese twisties just on the daily. Like, am I okay? No, I wasn't, because there was so much going on. I would actually say I was pretty depressed at that time. not clinically diagnosed, but just there was so much going on and I was not feeling good about myself. This is so much lore, honestly, but I think you need to know to understand the journey. I am not going to get into like obviously major details, maybe one day, but I had best friends that were fucking me over, talking badly about me behind my back. The classic, you've been there, you know. I was dating someone, just high school dating, you know, nothing crazy, nothing major, but like it all went to shit basically. And then I was like, you know what, I don't need friends, I just want to get a good ATAR, get into law, like do my thing. And it was like a mutual cutoff with everyone. Like they were being mean to me and not treating me good. And I was like, you know what? I'm done with this. I don't want to be their friends anyways. And I think I did kind of spend at least the last 3 terms, which is probably 6-ish months, really on my own, grinding, studying, whatever. So in that, I definitely was emotional eating, because let's be real, at like 17 years old, can you really handle dealing with all of that? No. And again, I didn't know anything about food. I wish I was like in that place where I just like threw myself into like the gym and working on myself and stuff. And I do remember at the time, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna revenge body, like fuck him, blah, 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 which honestly, I can't. I didn't even have a plan for that. I'd never stepped foot in the gym in my life. I think that I didn't even have like my license yet at the time, like fully. And how the hell was I going to even get to the gym? Like, I literally live in a semi-rural place that has buses every freaking hour. Like, how did I think I was going to get to the gym and home? The gym would be a 5-hour round trip at that point. So yeah, I do remember saying I was going to do all that. But again, I didn't even know the first thing about food, which is wild to say that. Like, people look at me and think I've lost 20 kilos so easily. No, there's no way. And I don't even know if I would have truly committed to losing 20 kilos if I didn't change my way of things. So this all happened. I graduated in 2019. So I went to uni for 3 weeks in 2020, not 2022, before COVID ruined everything, which is so wild. I hate, you know, when you read a fresh book and then they start talking about COVID, I hate that. So I don't want to like talk on it too much, because I know for a lot of people it was hard and it was heavy. I was so happy to be out of school and get away from those people and that place, and I'd already got the marks and everything, and I was into my course and I actually got a scholarship, so I was like feeling good about that type side of things, but I wasn't feeling good about myself. It wasn't even again about like the scale weight. I still did not have scales, but I would see photos of myself and hate how I looked. I would definitely avoid getting in front of the camera. I would avoid clothes shopping. I didn't even want to look in the mirror. I was like, okay, I like cannot. And it got to the point where some days I would be like laying in bed watching TV, like nothing major, and I would feel uncomfortable in my body. Like I'd feel like my insides hated me. I felt like I couldn't even lie on my side without having pain from my like layers of fat. Like, I don't know. If you relate to this, like let me know, because this like really was a weird kind of rude awakening at 18 years old. So I was like, okay, I need to do something about this. But again, I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. And the biggest problem with this is you go online, you download MyFitnessPal, you do a bit of research by looking at freaking TikTok, which I actually didn't have at the time. This is like, you know, TikTok wasn't really a thing yet. Anyway, you do a bit of research and it's like, 1,200 calorie diets, and you know, MyFitnessPal was giving you like 1,000 calories and telling you to basically slog yourself in the gym and eat nothing. And I was like, how the fuck do people do this? I know at the time I started like eating very, very minimal, not in like a bad way. I was cutting out everything, but I didn't know what I was eating. So when I say I was eating minimal, like, was I just eating from absolutely overeating to in a deficit? Maybe. I don't know. We'll never know, because I really didn't know what I was doing. And just going for some walks and things. And I honestly started feeling way better. I started losing weight visibly. I do have before and after photos from that time as well. I wish I took them initially, but I took them a little while after when I started the gym. My anxiety was going to the gym though, and I was like, how am I going to lose weight when I don't have a gym membership? Like, I think online a lot of people are like, you need to go to the gym to lose weight, you need to have a personal trainer to lose weight, you need to, and it's like, I didn't know what I was doing. I was not comfortable going into the gym. I was very insecure. I lacked so much confidence. I'd just been bullied in school for the last like 2 years, treated like shit from multiple people, lost multiple friendships, and then we were in COVID, so the gyms were closing. Like, the world didn't know what was going on at that point. So the gyms were definitely closing. There was like lots of scarcity around going to environments like the gyms and stuff. And I was like, fuck, like, what am I actually going to do? I'm so happy though that I stuck to it in this time, because a lot of girls that I talk to now, when people inquire with me, they're like, okay, I gained so much weight in COVID. And I'm like, wow, like, I went the opposite way. And I just love how everyone kind of went through COVID differently. Some people really struggled in that time. Some people really thrived in that time. And for me, it actually showed me that I do like being within my own space, and I'm a bit of a homebody, if you will. And I love kind of being able to just make my own decisions from home. I guess that's why I work for myself now, because it was just so good not like having to respond to anyone, not having to just do everything someone else said and be like, I don't know, not bossed around, but you know, when you're like at work every day, you're always getting told what to do, you're always getting group chat messages from work and being like, you have to respond and things like that. It was so nice to just have a bit of like a quiet time I had 2 jobs then. So it was nice just not to hear much. So I was working, did I have 2 jobs or 3 jobs? This could have been a bit of an interim. I was working at Kmart, Dusk, and a gym all at once at one point, but Dusk I was working Christmas casuals, so it wasn't like anything major. But Dusk closed, Kmart stayed open, and then the gym closed. So I did still sort of have work, but they were cutting people's shifts, because let's be real, no one was leaving the house. No one knew, like, it was very scarcity at the time. No one knew what was happening. So, you know, shifts were very limited. And I was like, I am loving this, like, just being at home and doing my own thing. I'm going to keep going on my grind. So I started doing some home workouts here and there, prioritizing steps, things like that, until obviously the gyms returned. Now, for me, the timeline is so blurry. Anytime someone asks me about COVID and stuff, I'm like, honestly, I don't even know what went on in that time. I can't even tell you. Between things closing, opening, I can't keep up. So bear with me, because the timeline here is a bit blurry, but I think you'll get the gist. I eventually joined the gym when it opened up. I had no idea what I was doing. With this gym, when you joined, you actually got a free PT. So I took her up on that opportunity, and she was fucked. Sorry, like, as a PT now, I can say this. She was fucked. She was older and stuff like that, so we don't run in the same circles. It's nothing personal or anything like that, but she took so long to book me in, like 3 months to book me in, and that's the worst. I don't know what I'm doing. I can't wait 3 months to learn. Like, I'm just going to pay for my gym membership and not go, which is the worst. You've been there, you've paid for that gym membership, you've not shown up. Why? Because they don't make it a comfortable, nice experience. And I think, you know, I can get into this later, but the whole reason I kind of do what I do and got into what I do and how I kind of act is because I have been there as the consumer. So I know when things aren't good enough. I've worked at multiple gyms at this point. I've worked with so many women. I've worked under people. I've been mentored by people, and I know exactly what I do and don't want to be a part of. And that was just a big red flag for me. When I was working face to face in a massive gym, way busier than this one that I went to, like probably 4 times the members, I prioritized getting people in within the week. Like, within the week of them signing up, I was, you know, contacting them, getting them in and training them so that they felt comfortable on the gym floor, because, you know, it's like the new year, new me. You're going into the gym with intentions of signing up and getting started. If you have to wait 2 months to get started, like, no, you're on to the next thing. It takes 21 days to build the habit. If you go in, sign up and get in straight away, then you can build that habit. I just think them not putting you in is a recipe for disaster. So I definitely struggled at that time. I was going and waiting for her for 2 months. So I was going and trying to do different machines and like just kind of winging it, to be honest. And some days it was embarrassing. I didn't even know how to adjust the equipment, and no one would help me. And that's a thing as well. When I used to go to public gyms, I would make sure if there was someone there struggling, whether I was working there or not, I would help them out, because I have been that girl. And it just feels so frustrating when no one wants to help you out. Like, we've all been beginners at, like, in the gym at one point. We've all started somewhere. And yeah, so that was a bit of a tangent, but anyway, so I waited so long to be trained by her, and I was learning a few little things by a couple people who would like tell me some things, like some friends, some people I knew that went to that gym, but nothing major. And then when I was doing the workout with her, she was not confident at all. Mind you, she's been PTing for like, I want to say over a decade. She wasn't confident in things. When I was asking her questions about things, she couldn't answer. She actually was giving me like incorrect information, which is just an injury waiting to happen. And it was honestly a terrible, terrible experience. And again, this is how I now know what I do and don't want in my business with my clients. And I love to hear it because I just relate so hard. Like, I don't like to say like the old me, but the old me was exactly where you've been or where you are right now. And I just hold myself to a higher standard. Like, honestly, that is not good enough. And I think as a PT, you need to understand some sort of struggle. And like, when you're searching for a PT, what do you look for? Because for me, I wanted someone that had experience, who knew what they were talking about, who was relatable in terms of age and things like that. Like, I love another girl in their 20s. Like, I love that. But also someone who had been through hardships. They didn't have to be overweight to begin with. They could have been, struggling with different hardships, but I want to see you doing the hardships. And yeah, she really didn't know anything at all. And I don't think she was qualified nutritionist either. So obviously PTs don't have to be qualified nutritionists. If you have a PT who's giving you calories and macros, they should be qualified. Now that is a whole nother topic. Gosh, there's so much I could get into, but I want to limit myself because, here for a short time, seriously, there's so much I could get into. Anyway, so yeah, that was a really dismal, disappointing kind of situation. And I was like, what am I supposed to do? I don't want to sign up with this lady. Like, she made minimal effort for me. She acted like she was too busy for me. She didn't teach me anything. I was asking her questions that she couldn't answer. And ideally, like, I want someone that knows more than me. I know the bare minimum what the hell's going on. I do want to give her the benefit of the doubt though, because maybe she was just struggling a little bit with COVID and things as well. Anyway, so I kind of started doing just random machines here and there. I didn't really follow any structure, and I was trying to do steps, cardio. I'd do stairs, I'd do skipping. They actually had like a little private room there, so I would set up little circuits and things in the private room because I was way too embarrassed to be on the gym floor. I had so much gym anxiety, and honestly, I don't know if it's just in my area or maybe it's a gym thing now, but they are covered by gym bros. Fucking gym bros. Don't even get me started. Why do they make every single female on the planet feel so uncomfortable? I don't even know. Why do they have to be so loud and so aggressive and in your face? I don't even know. Like, this is part of navigating your 20s. Dealing with the fucking gym bros. Like, what the hell are with these, I don't even want to say men, these boys. Like, between the high school boyfriend and these gym bros, I was like, seriously, I can't. So anyway, I did try to stay in my own lane, but I went into this private room and things like that, and it went fine, but I wasn't really loving it. Like, I wanted to learn more, and I almost feel like I was like a lost lamb waiting for someone to take me in, like, help me. And at the time, I don't think I even knew what an online coach was, which if I did, I would have got one. So quickly I would have got one, because I was working 2 jobs, I could afford one. It wasn't about the money for me. It was about the fact that this girl didn't impress me. Honestly, it was such a big priority that even if she was like $100 a session, I would have paid it, because that's how badly I wanted my goals. So anyway, it wasn't about any of that. It was the fact that she knew nothing and didn't even give a fuck. Whatever. I digress. Bit of a rant, I would say. By this point, I do know I was still really struggling with confidence, and I had applied at a gym. So I know I said I was working at a gym. This kind of all happened within the same time. So I hadn't secured the gym job yet. This is all like mixed in. As I said, the timeline is very, very blurry for me, and you can probably relate. I don't know. Did I trauma block it? I don't know. But anyway, so I was trying to work at this gym. I applied to it, and then they rejected me, actually, funnily enough, which again, this is just classic navigating your 20s. It was a bit shit, and I was just gonna let it go. But then my mum actually like encouraged me to email them and say like, thank you for the opportunity, like let me know if any spots open up or you're hiring again, because I would love to be considered and things like that. So I actually did that. I'm really glad I did that, because I ended up getting the job. Eventually, a couple months later, he was like, are you still looking? Obviously, I had other jobs, so I wasn't actively looking, but this is where I wanted to go. And I was like, yes. And then I went in for another, did I go in for another interview? Honestly, I don't know, but I got the job. I don't know what happened, but I somehow got the job. Anyway, so that was great. That was just on reception. As I said, I didn't have qualifications at the time, but I wanted to pursue them. So as soon as I started working there on reception, I started looking into doing my PT and nutrition courses. At this time, I think it closed down again. I'm pretty sure I literally got the job and then COVID made everything close down. One shift later, I literally worked one shift and I was like, what is going on? And I was really unsure about the certainty of the job because it's a like small business. And I was like, God, like, is it going to last and whatever. Anyway, so I started studying my Cert 3 and 4 in this time and I'm thriving. I'm loving it. I'm like, okay, I actually didn't even mention uni in all of this. Seriously, this is clearly how I changed my life to be better. I was doing uni in all of this as well. I did 6 months of the law degree and then I swapped. I did law in a double degree with sociology. I don't remember what it was. Something sort of psychology, but they didn't actually have psychology there. And then I moved unis and did psychology's honours at a different uni, and I did that for a year. So I did a year and a half of uni. That Hextet is haunting me because I didn't use her. I deferred with intentions to go back, and I still could go back. Why would I? Like, I'm just really enjoying where I'm at now. So I shall continue. I was doing uni and all of this time. And then I started dabbling in Cert 3 and 4 because I wanted to learn more for myself. I wanted to raise the standard for myself and make PTs better out there. I didn't want to be in this shitty, like the fact I couldn't even get any help was actually like, gobsmacked me, honestly. So anyway, I started being mentored by a couple PTs in that gym, which were really, really great. They really helped me learn lots, and also they let me shadow their sessions and they got my hours up so quickly. They signed me off. It was really, really great. Some of them, the females there, fucking 10 out of 10. Like, I love women support women. Like, seriously, I hate when someone drags you down and it's a woman. I can't stand that. The men there though, fuck me. I couldn't. The men there just were literally, I have no words for them. They were terrible people, degrading, rude as fuck, like all the men there, every single one, every single man in that institution, whatever. So she helped me tick everything off really quickly, get everything done. Anytime I had questions, she helped me with things. She was fucking great. So this helped me actually feel quite confident and get my certificates done quite quickly. I did the nutrition one all on my own though. No one there had it. And this is where I found the red flag in the industry, that so many PTs don't have nutrition, which is okay. You don't need to have it, but be honest and upfront. The fact that there's so many PTs out there giving out nutrition, custom calories and macros and things when they're not qualified in that is really disgusting to me. And that's why I made a special point to ensure I did it, because I didn't want to just help with exercise. Like, it really is 80% diet, and I felt like that needed to be put out there, like that needed to be done. It couldn't just be one or the other. It had to be fucking both for me. So I studied both, got it done, and that was that. I wasn't actually working as a PT at this gym though. I was still a receptionist, and I, asked them if I could start doing PT and stuff. And one of the males there claimed, literally fuck this guy, that I wasn't confident enough, I wasn't old enough. Like, the ageism was real. Something for me, a big thing actually about navigating my 20s is always being treated like shit for my age. My age does not represent anything. There's people I know our age. I'm going to say our age because I'm going to assume you're within your 20s if you're watching this, listening to this. People our age can have so many things. They could have grown up in a family that has access to a lot, a family business, all of these things. They could have grown up on the other side as well of that and, not had a lot and not had a good family unit. Like, we all have different experiences from our upbringings, from our jobs, from our education, private, public, whatever. There's so many different things that factor into the person you are. It doesn't have a number on it, in my opinion. So the fact that I was getting treated like shit based on my age and being told I wasn't confident enough, honestly, not to get into it in too much detail, but he didn't give me the chance to even talk. He would talk over me in sessions and then say, oh, she wasn't confident enough. Or he wouldn't give me instructions. He would start teaching the class and then go silent, and he expected me to like jump in, but he was teaching the class and I was shadowing him. When you shadow, you don't speak. He never let me speak though. And then if I would, he would kind of give me side eye, and then he would say, oh, she wasn't confident enough. Are you fucking okay, bro? Like, what? Anyway, so basically it was like pulling teeth trying to start PTing there. And I don't even really know the timeline on how long that was, but they fucked me around for a very long time. And I was like, you know what? Fuck these people. If they don't want me as a PT, then that's fine. I'll stay on reception. and I'll go work as a PT elsewhere. So then I went out, I applied for one job, literally one job at Virgin Active, which is, if you're not from Sydney or Melbourne, it's a massive gym. The one local to me has 4,000 plus members, a massive, massive network there. They have a bunch of PTs, like a whole dedicated team. It's wild there, honestly. I applied, I got an interview straight away. Wild. I literally was not expecting that. They're such a well-known institution. I was like, absolutely no way. After being treated like that was the ego boost I needed. I felt like my confidence was still on the floor. I was still not 20 kilos down at this point. I was about 10, I would say. I still was struggling a little bit in my body confidence, my self-confidence, but this guy just degraded me even more than I thought was possible. So the fact that they, called me in for an interview made me feel really, really good, honestly. Like, I was like, wow, I can do this. Anyway, so I went for the interview, and like, they do 2 stages. So one day you come in and chat with them, like one-on-one, 2 of the managers, and then you're supposed to come back on a different day and do a physical side of assessment. So actually showing them how you would train, which I thought was an amazing way to test my abilities, because as I said in the class with this other gym, he just was like going silent and wouldn't even let me take over. Whereas instead of doing that, they made me train one of their instructors. So it was a PT, a senior PT, who was, seeing my skills and testing me in the moment. And I loved it. It was really great. He would do things wrong, wait for corrections, wanted me to cue him through things, kind of design things. And then they would sometimes show me, I remember at one point he showed me like a Bosu ball, which is like a half exercise ball thing. And he was like show me 3 exercises you can do on this. It was just really, really thought out and cool. And the fact that I was able to answer it all boosted my confidence as well, because, I later found out that not a lot of people were very good at that assessment page. Anyway, obviously I got the job. Fuck yeah. Obviously meaning like the way I'm talking about it, I quite clearly got the job there. Did I think I was going to get it? No. She called me like a week later and was like, I'd like to offer you the job if you're still interested. And I was like, fuck yeah. I was like screaming, crying, throwing up after being treated like absolute shit at this other place, being really degraded, thinking I wasn't good enough. And don't forget, like at the time, as I said, I hadn't lost like all the weight. I still was on the heavier, air quotes again, side, and feeling really insecure. So I felt like, did they not want me because of my body? Was I not good enough because I wasn't skinny enough? Like there was a lot of that for me as well. So the fact that this like massive gym was like, yeah, like we want you, I was like, oh my God. Anyways, I started ASAP, full-time hours, like 5 days a week. So then I had to start juggling my other job because I was working on reception there. So I was doing about 3-ish days a week. Also, everyone that worked at the other job was so fucking slack. They'd never work. They would always call in sick and make up lies. Like, the girls loved them, but seriously, as a team, they fucked everyone over. So I would always take extra shifts there. And then suddenly I couldn't do it. I had to drop one of my days because I was working some days at 5 a.m. till 9 p.m. between the 2 jobs, which is honestly wild. I was working 7 days a week. I didn't have any days off. And not to be like, oh my God, like the grind. No, I just like could not balance both of them. So I needed to drop on the other one. Why didn't I prioritize, the other place? Because they treated me like shit. They had done me dirty. It went on for like a year. They had treated me like fucking shit. So I was like, I'm done. Enough is enough. This place wants me and I'm going. But I didn't quit my other job because who knew what was going to happen at the new job? Anyway, the new job was actually wild times. Like I was working full-time hours. I built my whole clientele on the floor, running 30-ish, 30 to 40. I can't remember numbers, but I was fully booked. 30 to 40 hours a week on the floor. I was juggling about 20 to 30, 20, 25 clients a week. I had some clients doing 4 sessions a week. It was actually wild. I really am happy that I'm happy that this gym gave me a chance, but I'm so happy as well how many women's lives I changed so quickly, like so soon into my journey. Like a lot of people do struggle to build up their clientele, and I was expecting it to take at least 6 months, but I was fully booked within 2-3 months maybe. I did not expect that at all. And they had a minimum there, a 12-week minimum. All of my clients, basically all of them, maybe a few weren't, but all of them stayed on past the minimum and kept going week to week. I had the highest retention rate like within my level. I didn't see anyone else have so much success on having good connections, and I want to say friendships with these clients. And, you know, I left that job 2 years ago and I still have good connections and friendships with a lot of those clients. A lot of them still message me to this day on Instagram. I train one of them still 2 years later. She comes to my home gym once a week, every single week. And she is a great friend. And I can't believe those connections that I made, from feeling like I wasn't good enough and I didn't even think I was going to get the job, to making such strong, deep connections with these freaking women that I'd never met before, to the fact that I'm still connected with them, is honestly insane to me. But I know why. Because I've been there. I've had the massive weight loss goal. I felt like shit. I've lacked the confidence. I've stood in the fitting room mirror and fucking hated what I saw. So I think it's the relatability piece. I was the PT that didn't exist. I was the one that had been through the journey and could relate, and wasn't someone that degraded you for not having a great day, going over your calories, whatever. Like, I didn't care about that stuff, because for me, movement and mental health first, weight loss second. If your mental health is in the bin and you're feeling like shit and you're trying to be in a weight loss phase, not going to happen. Anyway, so that made me feel really, really good. I was getting burnt out very quickly though. I was working, I want to say 60 to 70 hour weeks, because I was still juggling the 2 jobs. And I actually kept my Virgin job a secret to the other gym for 4 months, I think. I kept it a secret for as long as I could. And then eventually I'd kind of gone really quiet on them. I wasn't taking any shifts from them, that they didn't know why. They must have just thought I was being like a bratty 20-year-old. They didn't know why. And I stopped kind of trying to do PT anymore. I just was giving up on them. They weren't selling me the dream. They treated me like shit. I was kind of like really stepping back, and I felt like shit because I had so many suggestions, ideas. I was an excited, confident girl in her 20s. I was like ready to go, and they were like treating me like shit, wanting like people in their 30s and whatever, which, don't get me wrong, people in their 30s are great too, but I was fresh in the industry, just did my course, like I was young, fresh idea, like I just thought that they would want to like snatch me up. And that's why the other place wanted to snatch me up. They wanted someone young, passionate, in it, ready to go, like ready to commit and things like that. So anyway, yeah, I really dropped off from this other gym, and they were like, do you want to come and work some classes for us? And I was like, what the actual fuck? It's like when you have that fucking bitchy ass boyfriend or situationship and you stop giving them the time of day, and then they suddenly want you. They want what they can't have. And yeah, so they didn't even know I was working elsewhere, getting experience elsewhere. And suddenly they're offering me like 4 classes a week. And like from 0 to 4 is pretty wild. Like, you didn't think I was good enough, and now you're offering me 4 classes a week. Obviously, behind the scenes, someone didn't want their classes anymore, but the fact they offered it to me is wild. And I was like, no, I like can't take it, because as I said, I was fully booked out at the other place. Then they started getting sus on me, like why was I not taking it and things like that. Anyway, eventually I think I ended up just telling them, because I knew it was going to come. It wasn't like me intentionally keeping a secret. I didn't bring it up because I knew they were going to bully me about it. And quite frankly, I didn't want to be part of the conversation. You didn't want me, point blank. But anyway, I eventually told them, because at Virgin, we did a lot of like team activities. We went to like laser tag one time. We went to the Northern Beaches Virgin at French's Forest. And like we just would hang out, take photos. One of my good friends, I still consider her a good friend, had like a going away party from there, and we all went to the Bella and took photos there. So I was like, fuck, they're actually going to find out like on my social media anyway. So I'm just going to tell them, and however they react, it is what it is. So yeah, my manager wanted to talk to me because they kind of thought I was being distant, and they thought something was wrong. Well, what was wrong was that you were fucking bullying me, but I'm not a fucking child. I'm not gonna, throw a tantrum. I'm just gonna distance myself, which I am allowed to do. And then, so they thought it was something else, like, I don't know, maybe something happening in my life or something, or I don't even know, someone treating me some type of way. Bitch, it was you. It was you. You're the problem. The freaking light is coming on from inside the house. The call is inside the house. Like, seriously. Anyway, and then I just said, no, like, I have a job at this place now, and blah, 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 blah. And they were pissed. They were pissed. They actually admitted to me that they had set out their structure of their gym based on how Virgin sets it out. They admitted to me that the owner has the Russell Branson, who is the owner of Virgin Active's fucking book and like looks up to him as like an entrepreneur. And I think that is hilarious because they were just so pissed. Let's be real. They were fucking pissed. They felt like I had betrayed them when really like they had treated me like shit. They didn't want to give me a chance. It was honestly terrible. The girl that I was talking about that mentored me, she was seeing this all firsthand and was like, babe, this is fucked. And she didn't want to be there anymore either. And the fact that she was happy before I came, this is how long it stemmed on for and how toxic it got. Like, and she eventually left too. During this time, I had a lot of personal things going on, and then things were happening with work, and it was just like a lot of toxic stuff. I really wasn't prioritizing my weight loss anymore. It was so like hard. As I said before, when your mental health is in the bin, like losing weight seems impossible. So that was really in the bin, and I definitely was gaining back the weight a little bit. Not entirely, because, you know, I lost 20 kilos in the end, but I think I gained back at least 5 kilos, which is honestly wild. But then starting at the other job, things just felt so much easier. I signed up with an online coach because I knew what they were at the time, simply because I didn't have the time or the mental energy to coach myself when I was doing so many hours. And it was great just having a bit of a program there from her, some cows and macros and stuff. And, you know, it was going great until the weight was not budging. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why is this happening? Like, honestly, I felt like the world was out to get me. These places didn't want to treat me good. Well, like one of the places. I originally had struggled with emotional eating so much. Like, how did I get 20 kilos heavier? Like, I just felt like the world was out against me. And it went like weeks where I wasn't losing the weight. And I guess the thing is, if you're like a bit of a new client or you don't have a big connection with your coach, it can be hard to decipher like, okay, are you tracking properly? Are you, you know, sticking to it 100%? Are you sneaking in some things here and there? You know, are you being truly honest and tracking accurately and things like that? So I think she thought I was being dishonest, which is fine. I understand that, but also now that makes me even more on top of like my clients being like, let's communicate, like it's an open conversation. I'm not judging you. I have fucking been there. So I don't think that she like believed me. So anyway, I knew something was like up, something was going wrong, because I was giving 110%, and I was like really burning the cows though. I was, you know, training, I was on my feet all day, I was working massive days, like it was wild. And I eventually went for a blood test, and you know, it was not all sunshine and rainbows, but I think I want to dedicate a different episode to that one because it's a bit of a story time, to be honest. But anyway, you know, this is getting so long, but I want to wrap it up with, I eventually, you know, left that shitty gym, and then I stayed at the other one a little bit longer, eventually left that and built my own empire. I want to say empire online because, as I said, the way that I coach now is like, I've molded myself to be the coach I always looked for. I always wanted someone that would support me in navigating this time. I always wanted someone that understood what it's like to be heavier and feel all those types of ways and just be dreaming about living in your toned physique, but always feeling never fucking good enough to get there. I wanted someone that could understand that and relate to that so fucking badly. You don't understand. So now, you know, it makes me the person I am today, not just as a coach. It makes me a better person. I understand people's struggles more. I've seen such a wider variety of things. I broke out of that bubble. If I was still studying at uni and, you know, chasing this law degree, I don't think I would even be finished. I'd probably be graduating next year, which is so wild. Like, I just went through so many life experience journeys that I wouldn't have. I'd probably be doing some shitty casual retail job because it's so hard to do a full-time double degree with a full-time job. I'm blessed at the time that I, you know, only had to work casually because I live at home. But, you know, I just don't even know. I'd be sitting on my ass all the time. Like, every time I chat with girls who are doing uni, I was talking to someone recently, she was studying her master's. She was like, I literally am like stuck at my desk all day. I don't have time for movement. And I was like, yeah, I 1,000% get you. Like, I just know that I would be a miserable person because I'd be very overweight and really struggling with my health if I was still doing those things. So really, honestly, the thing for me about navigating my 20s, and you know, for navigating yours, is there isn't one way. I really thought I had to go to school, be miserable, get a great ATAR, go to uni, and that would be my life. And if you told, 2019 me that I'd be a personal trainer and nutritionist working for herself online, having so many women in her world, not even to mention, I haven't even mentioned about the home gym. I know I said I had a client that comes to my home gym, but with a home gym filled with equipment, a women's only gym, like anxiety-free space is so wild. Like I wouldn't have believed you. So if you're on a path right now that's feeling like, heavy, it's not feeling good, you're not enjoying it, just know that there's time, like things are going to change. And I think that's the beautiful thing about being in your 20s. There's so much space to change so many things. Yes, COVID took so much of our time, but it also kind of showed me what I do and don't want from this life. So if you're feeling some type of way right now, you can change it. Let me be the permission slip that you can change it, and it's not too late to go down a different career path, change jobs entirely, test the waters. If you don't want to travel, don't. If you want to travel. Like there's no right or wrong with it. It's finding what works for you, and sometimes you will go through hardships to get there. Fuck, I haven't even got started on half the hardships that I went through. But look, I'm out the other side. I'm living my best life. I'm loving my job. I love my job. I hated it before like I had any, like when I was just doing retail. And that's why I'm saying, imagine if I was still at uni, I'd just be in a retail job with like not a lot going on, or maybe an unpaid internship or a shitty internship or whatever it may be. I am so happy with where I'm at right now, honestly. So let this be your permission slip. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here. I want to thank you so much for coming along this journey with me. I know it was a bit blurry, a bit all over the place, but I think that is also part of navigating your 20s. It's never going to be straightforward and linear. It's going to be random, rogue, and crazy, but I'm so glad you're here, surviving, thriving, and struggling all at once with me. If you liked this, please stick around for more. Follow the podcast, like the podcast. I'm here for it. I'm so excited that you're here. Thank you so much for supporting me, and I will chat to you all so soon. That's a wrap on another episode of Navigating Your 20s. Thank you so much for joining me and taking the time to listen. If you enjoyed the conversation, vibes, and got something out of today, please feel free to send me a DM with any key takeaways and feedback, or share on your socials and tag me so we can connect. If you liked today's episode and you're wanting more from me, you can find me on all socials at success.withjess.